Hello everyone and welcome back to Mathematics with Usman. This is my fifth and the last video in my series on the topic coordinate geometry. And today we are going to practice few questions on equation of straight line. Students, the basic objective for today is finding the equation of a straight line in different given situation. Whether we are given with the graph of the equation and we have to come up with the straight line equation, or we are given with other scenarios and we have to come up with the equation of the straight line. That's what we have to attain in today's tutorial. Students, let's begin with the graph of the equation. You see that we are given with the graph of the equation, and what we have to do is we have to find its equation. Dear students, as we know that any equation has the form y is equals to mx plus c, where this m with the x represents the gradient and c is the y-intercept, means the point where your line cuts the y-axis is called your c. In order to find the gradient of this line, means the steepness of this line, students, I assume you have already went through my previous tutorial and you are well aware how to find the gradient of the line. For this particular line, if we move 1 unit in x direction, there is a rise in y direction which is 2 units. Again, see, if we move 1 unit in positive x direction, horizontal direction, the line is rising 2 units, 1, 2. So the gradient of this line is 2. Now if we need to find the equation of this blue line, we have the gradient m is equals to 2. Students, there is another easier method that if you like you can use. Consider any 2 points lying on this line. Let's say I consider the easiest of all y-intercept, which is having the coordinates x0 and y4, and the x-intercept which is -2 and 0. Now if I need to find the gradient of the line, I have to take the rise over run, means the difference of the y values to the difference of the x values. So if I take the difference of the y values, that is going to be 4 at this point and 0 at this point, and the difference of the x values will be 0 at this point and -2 at this point. In this way, the gradient will be calculated as 4 minus 0 means the rise, to the run which is 0 minus -2, that will give you 4 over 2 equals to 2, the same as we did in our previous method of 1 unit moving in the x direction and 2 units it is moving in the y direction. Now students, the second important thing, that is the y-intercept, means where is our line intersecting the y-axis. And if we see at this line, it is intersecting the y-axis at the point 4. So the value of c is equals to 4. Now the equation of this blue line will be equals to y equaling m, which is 2, and x will remain x, while c will be replaced with 4. So the equation of the line is equals to 2x plus 4 equaling y. Now let us consider this red line. What I encourage you to do is pause the video here and give it a go. Find the equation of this red line. Now compare your answer with mine. Students, as I told you, you have to come up with 2 things in order to find the equation of this line. Number 1, what is the gradient of the line, which is represented by m, and second, what is the y-intercept, represented by this letter c. What is m? For 1 unit in x direction, how much the line is rising or it is falling down. For this particular line, let us choose an easy point. Here is an easy point. Now, if you move 1 unit in x direction, the line is falling down in this case. How many units? 1. So what is the gradient of this line? It should be 1, but it is falling down, so it should be -1. So m for this line is equals to minus. Now it's C's turn. Where is your line, this red line, crossing the y-axis? And see, it is crossing the y-axis at the origin. So what is the value of C? It should be equals to 0. Now substituting the values of m and c in this particular equation of a straight line. So y will be equals to -1 times x plus the value of c, which is 0. So if we simplify it, we will get y equals to -1. So equation of the red line is y equals to -1. Now consider any point on the x-axis. If you take the value of x equals to 2, what will be the value of y? It should be -2, as you can see clearly proved by this graph, which is -2 here. Students, let us now explore some more questions that you can get on this particular topic of coordinate geometry. First question is, find the equation of the line passing through the point -2, 5 and parallel to the line 3y plus 7x equals to 29. See students, we are given with only one point, that is lying on the line. And one very important information, that the line whose equation we need to find is parallel to this line. And we know that if two lines are parallel, then they have the same gradient. Now students, if we can find the gradient of this line, we can easily have the gradient of the line whose equation we have to come up with. So first of all, arranging this equation so that we can have its gradient. So first step is write this equation in the form y is equals to mx plus c. Now if we compare the general form of this equation with this general form y is equals to mx plus c, we can see that the gradient of this particular line is equals to -7 divided by 3, the coefficient of x. If the gradient of this given line is equals to -7 over 3, students, if the gradient of this given line is equals to -7 over 3, then the gradient of the line whose equation we have to come up with is also equals to -7 over 3, because that line is parallel to the line whose equation is given. Now there is another information that the line is passing through -2 and 5. So this point is also lying on the line whose equation we have to come up with. Now students, in my previous tutorial, I have given you an alternative formula to find the equation of the straight line. If a point is given on it and its gradient is known to you, that form was y minus y1 equals to m into x minus x1. Now I am again supposing here that you are already familiar with this form. If not, what I recommend you is go back to that tutorial and watch the video there. Now substituting the values, replacing y1 with 5 and x1 with -2 and m with 7 over 3, we will get y minus 5 equals to -7 over 3 times x minus -2 in the brackets. Now by doing simple algebra, we will come up with the equation which is equals to 7x plus 3y minus 1 equals to 0. Students, you may be given with another situation, that is, find the equation of the line passing through the point 2 minus 3 and perpendicular to the line y plus 2x equals to 13. Instead of parallel here, this line is perpendicular to the line whose equation we have to come up with, and that line is passing through the point 2 and -3. Again students, we will arrange this equation in such a form so that we can have its gradient. If we arrange this equation in the form y is equals to mx plus c, the gradient of this line is very much known to us now, -2 it is. Now we also know that if two lines are perpendicular to one another, then their gradients are negative reciprocal of one another. So the gradient of the line whose equation we have to form is equals to the negative reciprocal of -2, which is 1/2. And the point that is lying on it is P2 minus 3, means the x coordinate of it is 2 and the y coordinate is equals to -3. Now substituting the value of m and x1 and y1 in the formula that we have used in the previous part. Now replacing the values, we will get y minus y1 means y plus 3 is equals to m replaced with 1/2, and x will remain x while x1 will be replaced with 2. Now by doing simple algebraic steps, the equation of this line will be equals to 2y minus x plus 6 plus 2 equals to 0, or 2y minus x plus 8 equals to 0. And this brings us to the end of today's tutorial. I hope this video will give you some insight to solve coordinate geometry in a better way. As always, thank you very much for watching Mathematics with Usman. See you in another tutorial and have yourself a productive day.